people of the world.
You are watching 100 Degree TV on YouTube.
Here is what you missed on the 100 Degree Show with Butch Harris.
So what do we do in this instance? Well, I know the past few days has been a spiritual, a lot of spiritual turbulence. I just say that much. And it's almost like from a spiritual perspective, I felt like I entered into a new atmosphere, and I had to break through this atmosphere from another atmosphere, and it caused my vessel turbulence. Like, you know, a plane, it's going from one altitude to another, and the atmosphere is not the smoothest. It's not the smoothest transition from one atmosphere to another, and the aircraft is just acting ridiculous, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, the past few days for me, I have sensed that. I've experienced that, and I've heard other people talking about it, and it's kind of like, yeah, we've crossed over into what may be deemed as the promised land. We did it, right? But it came at a cost. And right now, as I'm talking to you, there's a great level of discomfort, dis-ease that my physical body may be feeling and my psyche may be experiencing. And it's not because I did anything physically, but it's because of the warfare and the pushback and the crossing over into another atmosphere, into the promise. And it's something that I wasn't used to. So now we're in a place of going through the resetting to deal with this new reality, resetting to deal with this new atmosphere, resetting to allow our senses to be recalibrated to now look at the promise the way the promise needs to be looked at, to hear the promise the way the promise needs to be heard, to feel the promise the way the promise needs to be felt, to taste the promise the way the promise needs to be tasted, and to smell the goodness of the promise the way it needs to be smelled. So our senses are being calibrated for this promise that we have crossed over into, and we can no longer look at things the way we used to, and we certainly can no longer address things that the way that we used to. So I want to make this point, going back to the corporation again, and we could even look at relationships from the same perspective. You may have the things. You might have done things. You might have acquired things. You might have built things. And in the process of all of this, it was being done in a place where we can possibly say, well, it was being done in your flesh. It was being done in your natural ability, with maybe some assistance from the Most High, with some grace and some mercy, because you're still learning and you were going through your paces. But technically speaking, it wasn't the thing that was by purpose connected to the Most High. It wasn't that thing. It was like a dry run. It was like a scrimmage. It was kind of like a dress rehearsal. But the reality of it is, it's not good enough for the promise. It's not good enough for this new atmosphere that we're in. So if we want to be honest about it, our whole entire being needs to be recalibrated, and we need to have our reality healed. We need to be sanctified out of the old way of looking at things and hearing things and feeling things and touching things and all of the 5 sense reality things that we go through. That needs to be healed so that it can calculate on a different wavelength, on a different bandwidth, on a different frequency, because we can no longer look at life the way we used to look at life. I want to close on this thing. I said I was going to do a little bit of self-disclosure, but I spoke about something that happened. I think I spoke about it a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about something that happened to me in conjunction to other individuals, and I was kind of taken back. You know, it's kind of like, well, you know, are we kind of too old? Haven't we come too far in this journey to be playing these games with each other? And it was kind of like I was taken back. But the funny thing about it is when like I questioned God, I asked God, what is this really about? And he said to me, well, this had to happen, or I had to allow them to do what they did so that I can get you to the promise. And I was cool with it when he gave me the answer. It was funny, and it was, kind of like, one of those moments. But at the end of it, even though my spirit received it with gladness, my flesh rebelled. You don't want to talk about the flesh rebelling now, do you? So my spirit was in one accord with the Most High regarding what he did and how he did it, and also understanding why he did it and why it happened. That was the place of liberation, or the place of healing. But my flesh began to rebel, and all of these thoughts and these emotions started to now, try to get the best of me. Well, you're supposed to act like this, and why aren't you this, and why aren't you that? And, you want to get upset, and you want to, be, whatever regarding this situation now and these other people. And it's like, but God already told you, bro, chill. That had to happen, right? But the 5 sense reality is rebelling. The flesh is rebelling because it's been programmed to rebel when things happen against us. Our ego is acting up, and our pride wants to get out of order, and all of these things are happening. But you received the word of the Lord with gladness. But now the flesh is rebelling. So I'm simply saying, by experience, by many experiences, I can simply say that we have crossed over, and this is the season to render our 5 senses the way it used to be in the old dispensation, null and void. It cannot function in that capacity anymore. I refuse to have my 5 senses dictating to me and governing over me in things that has no bearance on the plan of the Most High. Period. It becomes wasted energy. It becomes a battle of nothingness. And God forbid you go along with it. Oh, it becomes a setback now, right? It becomes a setback. But today I'm saying that we are moving into the complete healing. And the complete healing is to walk in our purpose, live in our purpose, be in our purpose, regardless of the situations and the circumstances of life, because whatever those circumstances are, they're just simply things that are happening to allow us to get into the deeper aspects of who we are and to complete different levels of our healing, because it's a healing journey. It's a sanctifying of the soul, and it's the continual saving of the soul. And we are not going to stop. We're going to consistently pursue that complete healing, because that's what the journey is about.
Thank you for watching 100 Degree TV on YouTube. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel if you find our content valuable, and be sure to join us for the next presentation.